Howdy! Welcome to the channel.
Hi there.
It's the last day in June. March, April, May, June. So we just finished our 4th month. 120 days. You ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
The obstacle is the way. Sounds familiar, Ryan. Okay, so this one starts with a quote by Marcus Aurelius. While it's true that someone can impede our actions, they can't impede our intentions and our attitudes, which have the power of being conditional and adaptable. For the mind adapts and converts any obstacle to its action into a means of achieving it. That which is an impediment to action is turned to advance action. The obstacle on the path becomes the way. So, our actions are the things that can be impeded, but our intentions, so like what we're trying to achieve, and then our attitude, how we're framed around the whole thing, those are within our power, and they're conditional so they can and adaptable so they can shift with the changing situation. And they can change in response to the obstacle that comes into the path. For the mind adapts and converts any obstacle to its action into a means of achieving it. So the obstacle becomes now a means for achieving it. The obstacle, because you have to move through the obstacle. And so that's it, like the means, because like the means is like the way you, like the, into a means of achieving it. So it converts an obstacle into a means of achieving it, like a way to achieve it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever's an impediment to action is turned to advance action. So it stops the action, but then we use it to move the action forward. Fitting that June would wrap up the problem-solving month with basically use your problems. Like, accept them, embrace them, and use them to move forward.
I will do that.
You want to read Ryan?
Well, you're going to be reading it, but yes.
Or did you want to think on this one for a sec?
No, that's good.
Okay, Ryan says, today, things will happen that will be contrary to your plans. If not today, then certainly tomorrow. As a result of these obstacles, you will not be able to do what you planned. This is not as bad as it seems, because your mind is infinitely elastic and adaptable. You have the power to use the Stoic exercise of turning obstacles upside down, which takes one negative circumstance and uses it as an opportunity to practice an unintended virtue or form of excellence. If something prevents you from getting to your destination on time, then this is a chance to practice patience. If an employee makes an expensive mistake, this is a chance to teach a valuable lesson. If a computer glitch erases your work, it's a chance to start over with a clean slate. If someone hurts you, it's a chance to practice forgiveness. If something is hard, it's a chance to get stronger. Try this line of thinking and see whether there is a situation in which one could not find some virtue to practice or derive some benefit. There isn't one. Every impediment can advance action in some form or another. What are your initial thoughts? I wouldn't mind digging into one of these examples a little bit.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he says, if something prevents you from getting to your destination on time, then this is a chance to practice patience. That's like one of these sayings that I might hear a lot that's like, I don't know, in the moment, it seems to like not hold as much weight.
Well, because you don't know if you know it's time, then okay, then everyone will wait, right? But if you don't know if it's time and it's actually you're doing something the wrong way and it's not just waiting for it, then you waiting and practicing patience is not going to get you anything because you're on the wrong track.
Well,
right?
yeah, I mean, he's saying like prevents
Yeah.
you from getting to your destination on time. I think he just means like driving or you're on like a train or something like that.
Oh, I thought it more metaphorically like a goal
be.
of your, yeah.
I mean, because then he
Well,
says
because-
like if an employee makes an expensive mistake. So I'm just taking like what he's saying literally.
I mean, okay, Jesus Christ.
I-
Okay. Sounds good, Ryan. We're 3 years old. Let's tell us.
if
Jesus
something
Christ.
if something
Okay, I
prevents
mean-
you from getting to your destination on time,
like actually driving
I
or something.
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Then he says, then this is a chance to practice patience. So like patience, like I don't know if that's exactly like the obstacle is the way. Like if I'm going to be late for something.
I'm gonna call them.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna say
It's like,
that,
I
I'm
mean-
sorry, I'm late. I'm running late, and I don't have to stress out and do anything, right? But I have to let them know. I can't be like, I'm just gonna practice patience. Not let anyone know that I'm gonna be half an hour late, but I'm just gonna practice patience. Like no.
Yeah, it's like letting them know or like making a plan so that I
Yeah.
can join remotely on time or
Right,
something like
right,
that. But
right.
like actually I need more brain power because like what practice patience? How do I do that? Do I just tell them be patient, be patient, be patient? Is that what it means to practice patience? Like I feel like my mental space is better used to do what you're talking about, which is like, okay, like what are the consequences here?
Deal with the thing that you are late.
Like
right?
what are the consequences
and
here?
not by going faster, right? Like, yeah.
Right, and like, so Bill I need to talk to Bill, but I'm supposed to take the first 5 minutes of this meeting. So like, will I be able to do it? Will they be able to move something around in the agenda so that I can go later? The CEO's gonna be there. Like all of this is what my brain actually needs to be doing in that event to like feel like I'm in control of my shit and like life is not just like bashing me around.
Right, and if life changes, I'm ready to shift with it, right? Like, yeah, you can't have me for the first 5 minutes. I'm just gonna sit here and not say anything. Sounds good. Okay, sounds good. Let me know when we can have this conversation. Again, I'm going into resolving what I wanted from it, right? This 5 minutes, and I'm not getting it anymore. That's okay. I don't need to do it now. But the thing that I wanted to cover in 5 minutes needs to be disseminated essentially, right? So at some point we're gonna have to do it, right? So then let's, maybe not now, but let's, so it's like, yeah.
Or like, here's another example that he gives. If a computer glitch erases your work, it's a chance to start over with a clean slate.
Yeah.
Which is like, again, another one of those, like, what do I tell myself that? This is a chance to start over.
Oh, hey, here is an opportunity to start a new slate when I lost all my documents. Oh, yeah, I'll just redo them. Like, yeah, of course I'm going to have to go redo them because I lost it all. And of course, is this an opportunity to not to do that? No, that's never the opportunity because you are already committing to something that you're going to do and now you lost it all. So now guess what? Recommit and go keep doing it again. But it's not this like, oh, I'm so excited, right? Like, okay, like Gendlin says like, hey, if I said it this way and I got interrupted and I didn't do it, the next time I will say it better.
That's what I was
right?
thinking too.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking of
Great.
Genlin because it's like, this is an opportunity to do it
it
better.
better the
My
second
folder
time.
structure was all effed up on the last one. I'm going to make this folder structure better. Or
Right.
like, hey, like these documents like were just too wordy. Like really here's the meat of the matter. Like
Yeah.
this almost like his version of it sounds like just
like,
deal with it.
Yeah, he's just
versus
it's like he's talking to like 3-year-olds or something,
versus
which also is not the way you should talk to 3-year-olds.
Which is versus like what I would find helpful, which would be, here's the bad situation and here's how you make that better. Here's how you make a bad situation better for yourself so that I one up myself on the other side of this obstacle.
Right.
Like I want to come out on this other side feeling like I graduated to the next level of the video game. And in that way, obstacles can kind of be fun.
The whole obstacle is the way. I like it because the way I look at it is really like, if you don't know what to do, go do the things you don't want to do, right? AKA, that's your obstacle. That's the actual path forward, are the things you're trying to avoid, right? So, okay, if obstacle is the way, then I'm instantly translating it into like, oh, this is actually not just like obstacle is, there's an obstacle, so go through it head first. Well, what if at the end of that obstacle is you are one head short, right? Like, don't go head first into just because it's an obstacle. No, but like, I use obstacles in the way that like, I don't know what to do with, like, what else can I do? What else can I do? Well, I definitely don't want to do that. Oh, maybe that, why don't I want to do that? Oh, maybe that's actually which way I need to go, because I don't want to go, because there's something uncomfortable. And forcing myself into going into the obstacles, aka the things I don't want, gives you a result that actually probably has the most forward movement. Because avoiding it, going like this, it's not going to get a lot of forward movement. If you go into it, the whole thing shifts. And so I agree with that. Obstacle is the way, because if you like get into a scuffle with a person at work, what's the way to go forward? Go right back into it and try to clear it out. That's your obstacle. You got to clear this out. Even though it's uncomfortable, you have to go do it, right? So I think that, I mean, he's talking about maybe like people who are trying to avoid every uncomfortable situation or something, so like, of course, to a 3-year-old who wants to avoid every uncomfortable situation.
But look at our lives, like look at all the conversations we're not having with people, or like that we're not having with each other, or like all of these things, they just feel like too hard. Like, how do I do this? And so it's like, it's easy to say like, oh, like this isn't my problem. But like, then when I scratch underneath the surface, it's like, no, like I've got work to do here.
Yep.
Like I'm not.
Well, this isn't my problem is ultimately saying I'm not interacting with this problem at all. But you knowing that there is a problem, you are already part of it. So that we would be lying to ourselves, saying like, well, that problem doesn't belong to me. It's on somebody else's desk. Well, yeah, but you just knowing about it and you knowing that person and that desk, you're already somehow part of potential way of solving it. But we say, not my problem, so I'm not going to spend any time or any effort on helping that person who that problem is to help them solve it, right?
Sure, and I'm talking about even things that are like my problem. They're not just somebody else that I know of or something. No, it's like, hey, there might be I don't know how to talk to you about like my bad mood today, right? That's an obstacle. Mm-hmm. So like, and I'm purposefully not talking to you about it. Mm-hmm. So it's like, because I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
we all have these. I purposely don't talk to you about many things as well, because I don't know how to do it. Yeah.
Right. And we, between the two of us, is not just the thing. It's like, with parents or with people at work, and people at work are maybe easier because like there's like this professional sort of environment for us to sort of have conflicts in. But even sometimes there, it's like, what? Like, how am I going to approach this? Like, how am I going to deal with this? So it's like, Yeah, it's just easy. It's really easy with this kind of stuff to be like, oh, okay, I get what you're talking about. Thanks, I'm good in this area.
Next page.
Yeah, thanks, I'm good in this area, and then like
good.
move on.
Yeah, stay in there, man. Yeah, it's not a. Yeah. When I hear the word obstacle, I have in my head that scenario of like when I don't know what to do, I can always go into the list of things I don't want to do. And that is a huge list of just cherry pick which one would you like next and go do that one, right? Like, oh, holy cow, now I do know what to do next. Right? Like it helps me come from the there's all these options and I don't know which one to choose, and I don't even, maybe there are all these options and they're not even like very like connected to like a need that I need to do something, but the things I don't want to do, it's very connected into what I don't want to do. And a lot of times I don't ask myself, why don't I want to do them? And then they're most likely just like fear-based things or some other uncomfortable things, or dealing with if I go to this thing, I'm going to have to deal with some uncomfortable situations, and it's going to be, I'm going to be nervous about it, and I don't want to do that, right? So then I go, I don't want to do that, right? And so like, okay, step up to the plate. That is the thing I need to go do. And go, that's my obstacle. That's my obstacle to go through, right? And so they're over there in that backlog.
Yeah, so when are you going through your backlog? Like how do you arrive at the moment of like, okay, I'm going to pick something from this list? Like, is it just like when you don't have anything to do and you're just sitting around, or is it like when you're stopped on a progress on something and you're just like, oh, what am I avoiding here?
Yeah, and sometimes it happens very quick, or sometimes it happens in like, it sits in your backlog for years, and then you're avoiding it and avoid some conversation with some people, right? There are some conversations that I yet to have with some of these people, and I'm not having those conversations because I'm trying to avoid it, because when I tried to have those conversations, it backfired. Another try, backfire. Another try, backfire. Then I go, I guess I can't talk to them about it, right? So then that's my obstacle, but I don't necessarily know how to go to have the next one, and the result would be something different, right? So then I try, and if I try it, then it goes into the backlog, aka back burner, and it just sits there, right? And it can sit there for years. And I'm for years not having those conversations with the people that I know that I should really clear some air out with these folks. So that's what it is, that's my like a long-term backlog. But there are things on a daily basis that I don't necessarily want to do, and I go, no, go freaking do it. Go do it, man. Like, like recording all these podcasts every day. Like, do I want to go sit here every single day and every time and do it? No, there are moments where I'm like, no, I don't want to do it today. Like, I want to go do something else, right? Like, I just want to go do something else. And I go like, all right, you got to go do it, right? So I'm like, not forcing myself, but I'm going through obstacles of saying, no, go sit and go do that. It's yeah.
I would be curious about the mechanism that brings things out of that long-term backlog, like, and what a system for dealing, because I think I do connect with that, like where it's just like there's these issues that are not urgent and they're big, and it feels like I need to become a different version of myself in order to like effectively manage them.
Yeah.
So it's like, what is the system for like going into the backlog, pulling things out, engaging with it, trying new things, being okay with the failure, putting them back in the backlog because it's like, okay, that didn't work, or it worked partly but not all the way, and going through this to move things out of the backlog finally.
Yes. So first of all is to have the backlog not in your head, because when you're in your head, you're like, well, I have this backlog of things. No, let's write them down.
What all of things of what?
Yeah.
Things I'm avoiding?
Yeah. Write them all down. Things you're avoiding. Just write them all down on that list. And then maybe try one of those things and see how, and then right next to it, didn't work. I tried this, didn't work. And the next one, what about this one? Man, I tried that and that didn't work either. Okay, that's okay. Maybe 3 months from now, you're going to try that one again because you're going to have a new idea of how to try it differently this next time.
Yeah, because
but it has to be written down. If you don't have your
I
backlog,
like
I mean, look, project management, if the things are, we say we have a backlog of items, but if those items are not sitting actually in that backlog where we can read them like this, we have nothing.
Right. Yeah, I like that. And I like also the idea of like recording, like I tried it and it still didn't work in this way. And here's what I actually did. Yeah. Because I think why things end up getting in the backlog to begin with is because I tried them over and over again in pretty much the same way.
Same way.
And I never learned.
Anything, and we never learned.
And now I just got frustrated with the process.
And we never really have a chance to say, this is what I'm trying to, this is my obstacle. This is what I've tried. This is what I've tried. Oh, I see. These are the same kind of. Oh, and now I go, well, how can I try it next time? And that thing, how can I try it next time? Now you're coming up with something. Now there is something like, okay, well, I cannot do it the way I did it these 2 times because that didn't work. What else can I do? And now you're going through some sort of a focusing session where you're sitting with yourself thinking about what else could be done, what else could I do? And maybe in this process, there is something that goes, oh, I could do this. You write it down. Next time I'm gonna try it this way with this new approach that came. Maybe you sit there for 20 minutes and nothing comes. Okay, I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe something will come later. It's okay. Hey, can I focus on another obstacle from my backlog list that I haven't tried for a while and just kind of see if I can go and do that, right? So, yeah, like having this list of things I don't want to do and work on that list and keep adding to it because that will always be there. There are always new items to go to the backlog of what we don't want.
It's like, this is like an idea that like makes me feel really good. And now I think about like actually going down and like opening up like a ClickUp or a Trello or something like that. And like, or a spreadsheet and like building this out. And I'm like, shoot, like, I don't even know what I would put in that bucket, you know?
Yeah, but that's also a session to sit there and say, what is it? What is really my obstacle? Like, maybe you don't know what your obstacle is.
I mean,
just something is not going forward, and I don't know what the obstacle is.
I wasn't thinking about obstacle as that word because that word doesn't do anything for me. But what am I avoiding?
Sure.
And like in my specific case, like what conversations am I avoiding?
Conversations are a big one for sure. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we have to high five. No? Okay. That's weird.
No, it's not.
Just because I should do it like that.
High five.
Yeah, because we made it through June. So, alrighty. Thank you so much for joining. I don't know what my question is for you today, but how did you like June? And I'm looking forward to July. See you tomorrow.